DeAndre, and just what I know before the season you weren't sure how much he'd be playing this year.
Yeah.
And what he's been able to do.
Yeah, he was a little bit behind some of these other perimeter guys whose minutes he has stolen since early in practice. But he's developed more of an understanding of what we're trying to do. He's become a little bit more accountable defensively, a little bit more bought in. But he's always had that infectious energy. He's competitive, and he really likes basketball. And sometimes that'll get you on the floor. And then he's taking advantage of opportunities that he's earned by making some shots and continuing to play with that same energy.
He's not afraid to shoot it.
No, he hadn't met a shot that he didn't like, of course, and it's kind of what he does. He's a shot maker. He was a volume guy in high school. He's learning to play more within himself and learning to play more in a team structure. So he's still developing, but he's got a chance to be a good player.
Is there any liability when he is on the floor defensively, or is he getting better at that?
Well, most of our guys, at one time or another, are a liability. We've got 2 or 3 guys that are pretty damn accountable. I wouldn't put him quite in that category, but he's a much improved defender over the last couple months. And a lot of it has been his approach, his mindset. Little things, just attention to detail, and he's understanding now that that's what's going to get him on the floor.
Last game you had 9 players hit a 3, which is not only tied an NCAA record, but this team had issues.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this team did have issues shooting from distance earlier in the season. It wasn't just a product of better movement, possibly playing an opponent that you were just a little bit better than, or
yeah,
all those things.
Yeah, I think we were playing an inferior opponent. A program that's we have a lot of respect for, a really good program, just in a different league, and they do a good job of really collapsing on the basketball on penetration, and so we had a lot of drive and kick opportunities. I do think, though, our guys have gotten better with extras, making the extra pass, playing more selflessly. The ball's moved a little bit better as of late, and that's got to continue for us. And then, we can talk about how well we're capable of shooting the 3 ball. We've got to get more consistent with it, but it's also a byproduct of struggling to finish on the interior. And so we've got to get to where we're more efficient, getting some type of production inside the paint, whether it be drawing fouls or scoring 2s.
I feel like this is kind of a Fisher Cup bait portion of your schedule with the non-conference. I mean, obviously you got 2 big games this week. And,
yeah. I'm not joking, I promise. I just don't understand that one. You got to explain that one. Yeah.
Fish, or you just sit on the sideline, cut bait. You fish, cut bait.
I hope our guys are all ready to.
I got another one for you, but it's a little bit more rude.
Is it? I'll take it. No, I'll go with this one. I mean, no, all good, Pat. I hope all our guys are excited to fish. Great opportunities here. Madison Square Garden, Jimmy V Classic. Really cool opportunity. Great program in West Virginia, great coach. Playing against a very good team. So if we're not excited, something's wrong with us.
You talked about how Hayes is kind of the only guy who's been playing at maximum effort 100% of the time. How have you seen him respond to that, this long kind of week that you've had to prepare?
Well, he's continued to bring it every day like he does. That's who he is. We've had yesterday was an average practice, but we've had a couple really good ones. So it's still fighting for to see more and more consistency. But he's as consistent a guy as we have.
Do you feel like somebody has stepped up more along with him as a leader in these last weeks at all, or is it still kind of Hayes and everybody else?
I think Pat brought up DeAndre earlier. He's trying to lead by example a little bit. He's ready to compete every day. Noah Locke and Andrew Nemhart have been terrific in practice. They hadn't had a bad practice. Boy, I don't know that they've had one, period, but if they had, it was a long time ago. Keystone had a really good one yesterday. And so, we evaluate practice closely, as everyone does, every day. And if we're going to be a team that's hitting on all cylinders on game night, you give yourself the best chance to do that by being consistent every day in practice. It's pretty simple.
So, Mike, does it ever get, do you ever not get starstruck kind of walking into a place like Madison Square Garden?
I can't lie, Edgar, no. Pretty neat walking in there. There's a few venues that you're playing in your playing and coaching career that'll really, really excite you, and none more than this one.
So does, obviously you feel blessed with these opportunities, and is it fun for the players? Do you get into the history of like the great mixed teams or any of that kind of stuff?
No.
That kind of stuff, I'd be
Yeah. I'm begging for a block out, a high-handed closeout, sprinting back in transition D, spacing to the corner when we're supposed to, all those type things. We're not great at those things yet, but if we were, I'd get into the Knicks maybe a little bit.
That's kind of fun. What about Canyon Berry talking about his dad's on 57 there? You remember that?
Is that right? Wow. No, I don't remember it, but I believe it. I know he was a heck of a player. What else we got?
Coach, your defense looks like you haven't been yelling hands as much on the sideline. You haven't been
Oh, really?
trying to do that. Yeah, I've noticed that.
Okay.
Is there something that you think the team needs to continue to improve on? Because you guys
Yeah.
have been doing so well on defense recently.
Well, it's funny you say that. We've been doing a pretty good job of tracing the basketball with high hands. Pretty good job. So maybe that's why we're not having to yell it quite as much. This team is struggling to score a little bit, and that's something that we've got to figure out. We've also played some really good defenses, but I'm pretty pleased with where we are defensively. We're not, I wouldn't give us an A, but we're significantly better defensively than this team was 12 months ago, last year's team. So we're putting forth effort. We're in a stance. We're flying around. We're communicating at a pretty high level. This team's a little bit more physical. Obviously, that'll be tested by the Mountaineers, who are as physical as any team in college basketball year in and year out, tomorrow night. So we can still improve defensively for sure, but I'm more concerned with our ability to score against high-level defenses.
Are you unraveling the Jalen Hudson mystery?
Just don't know. I don't know what to say, Edgar. I know what he's capable of. I've seen it. We've all seen it. He's a great kid. He wants to earn more minutes. He wants more minutes. He's got to earn them. But I think that he'll have some big games for us. I do. I'm optimistic.
Coach, as you're working with these players and evaluating them and looking over film and ways that they can improve, how do you feel like this group in particular, especially some of the new guys, deal with self-evaluation and having to look in the mirror?
Well, we've got a few guys that will pout. We've got a few guys that are a little more sensitive than the other guys. We've got some guys probably right in the middle, and we've got some real leaders too that are big ownership guys that sometimes will blame themselves when it's not even their fault, but they'll take it for the team. They're comfortable enough in their own skin to put things on themselves. Spidey's one of those guys. Andrew's one of those guys. Andrew may throw it to a guy and it goes right through his hands out of bounds, and he'll say, "That's my bad. I could have thrown it a little bit better." And that's what you want to see. When you're watching film with guys, when you're watching as a team, when you're correcting mistakes in practice, if you don't take the message correctly, most often the message doesn't sink in. And you know, the more open you are to learning and self-evaluation, the better chance you have at improving.
And as far as your message of going to play Madison Square Garden, I know you said you didn't talk about the Knicks, but playing on that stage, how have you
Yeah.
talked about that?
We really hadn't gotten into it at all. Really, it's been about us early week. It's been about West Virginia the last 48 hours. I guess we touched on it after practice yesterday, just for a couple minutes, about this being a business trip. We know we're going to have a bunch of families and friends and aunts and uncles and former coaches that show up, you know, in New York City, and it's not a field trip. You know, it's okay to spend a few minutes with loved ones, of course, but we've got to manage all of that noise. And then as far as the venue, we'll probably touch on that, you know, at some point tomorrow. We're going to have such a long day tomorrow, maybe tonight after our meal. But it shouldn't be a big factor. If it is, you know, then we're taking focus away from where it needs to be.
A lot of those guys played it.
That's a good point, Pat. Yeah, I guess outside of our freshmen, a couple sophomores didn't. Yeah, so yeah, I would say maybe half have at least suited out and had front row seats if they weren't on the court. But maybe Kayvon will really get going because he had a pretty special game.
35.
My goodness, yeah. Quick Kayvon story. Not that you asked, but I got the mic, so I'm learning. So we were about early second half, maybe Denver. I know I've told you this story. You might have been eavesdropping in on the timeout, but we had a media, and we were struggling to score it. But Kayvon was in such a rhythm, and I started drawing up something that I thought maybe we could get a look for somebody to get going. And I don't know why I didn't think about Kay at the time. And one of my assistants, I won't name names, leaned over and says, "Coach, Kayvon's hit 8 shots in a row," and we're about to exit the full media, and crossed out what I did. I said, "Hey, let's run this for Kayvon. Let's get it back into his hands." About 8 seconds later, he hits another big one. So that was a special night for him.